2020, for sure we're going to have 25% of our net profit coming from international activity. I think it's going to be more than that, because I hope until 2020 we will do new investments in some other countries in order to have more of our net profit coming from international activity. We did that because our investment in Spain was almost finished. I mean, the Spanish network is mature enough. It's new, so there's no new investments to be done like other countries like Italy or France. They have to renew some of the network. Our network, we started 45, 50 years ago with Barcelona plant, and many of our pipelines have been built in the last 15 to 20 years. So there's no new investments to be done in Spain. We've invested in Spain up to 900 million euros in 2009. This last year we've invested 3 or 4 million euros. So we need to invest abroad for three main reasons. One, because we need profit, new revenues to come from other investments, but also we need to maintain the excellence and the experience of our engineers in our company. We need them to be experienced, so we need them to be involved in new ventures, new infrastructures. That's the second main reason. And the third one is because the Spanish gas industry needs our investments to come with us and try to develop their industry also. We are, in that sense, very important for all the gas industry behind us. So those three reasons are the reasons why we need to invest internationally. Till 2020, the 2 years and a half we have until to go, we plan to invest in Spain for two projects to be built. One is the connection between Spain and France in Medcat, now called STEP. So it's a connection between us and TGF, now Tarega, owned actually by Snam again, and plant in the Canary Islands, in Tenerife. So those are the two main projects in Spain to be built for the next 2 years and a half. We will increase our participation and our investment in some of the projects we are already in. So all the companies we are in, there's some investments to be done. So that will be in Chile and in TAP and in DESFA. So we will have to invest through our subsidiaries in those countries. On top of that, we will find opportunities to invest 400 million more in new projects. Where will this be? Well, mainly perhaps in South America. I mean, these investments should allow us to grow more than 5% year over year from here to 2020. It's important also what's going to happen afterwards, because companies like us, we have to look at 2020, but also at 2030, 2040. So how's going to be our growth in those next years in that future, and we're also working on that. Last April it was announced that we are preferred bidder for the DESFA privatization process, with 66% of it. The first thing important is that we've teamed up together, Snam, Fluxys and ourselves. So having a team with 3 TSOs, with all our experience, I think is good for us, because we can work together and learn about each other, and good for the country, good for Greece and for DESFA. This is going to happen more and more within the European Union. I think we're going to see how different European TSOs team up for other opportunities. So that's the first thing. We're very happy to team up with other TSOs. And of course, DESFA, Greece itself, is going to be very important in the future. I think there's going to be big flows of gas coming from other parts of the world within Europe. The security of supply of that part of Europe is going to be secured mainly by Greece. We are already in TAP. Also there, we are together with Fluxys and Snam, being together with other 2 players, BP and other 3 BP, SOCAR and Axpo. But the TSOs together, we manage the infrastructure and we help it a lot. So I think that investment is going to be important for Greece, being all together for DESFA, and for ourselves being with other TSOs is very important, because we really think there's going to be an increase of demand in the Greek market, not only for Greece. There's many parts of Greece to be gasified yet, so there's many infrastructures to be built in Greece yet, many pipelines to be built within Greece, but also Greece is going to be a transit country for the gas going to the north part. I think the partnership between other TSOs in Europe is going to be very important in the future. I don't know if we will see some kind of European consolidation of the European gas market. Perhaps this will happen someday. But for the moment, what's really happening is that we are teaming up together for new opportunities within the European Union and outside the European Union. And speaking about the Mediterranean, it will be very important for us to team up with all those companies for new opportunities in the south part of the Mediterranean Sea. The first project to be done is called STEP, and this will be the first part of MidCat, as was stated by the European Commission. So we would like to start with this small connection. That's going to be 400 million investment, not more, 450. We are working on the numbers. The idea, I mean, the reason why that project should be done is because it gives a higher security of supply, and it integrates different markets. If Spain and France would have been a single country, that pipeline would have been done 30 years ago. You look at that way, and we're looking at a European Union in the energy sector. It made sense to build up the connections between markets. We need to have a single market within the European Union. If you want to have a single market for the molecule, for the gas, you need to have a single market for the infrastructure. So we need both markets to be interconnected. That's going to be good for the consumers, both sides, because when you connect a market, you reduce the prices of the gas. So that's going to be good for consumers and good for the industries in order to have a higher security of supply. So I really believe in that project, and the best way to look at it is if we were a single country, that project would have been done. So if you look at Europe, and you look at the countries, and look how the networks are built, you look how they are built within the countries, you see they are not connected between countries. So if we are building a European Union, we need to see Europe also as a single country in how the countries are connected. That stands for gas and for electricity. And that's easy to look at. We have no borders now within the European Union, so let's have no borders in the electricity and the gas industry. So Spain is really in the right place. We're just in the middle between the exports in the US and the imports within Europe and Asia. Production of gas in Europe is going to decline the next year, so we're going to need more and more energy introduced in the European market. So Spain will become, I'm sure about that, a guarantee of the security of supply of gas for the future. The demand in Europe is not going to decline as quick as the production is going to decline, so we will become a big part of the rest of Europe. That's why we are claiming that we need to have those interconnections. So we have two. We want to have the third one through Catalonia, who we meet CAT. And that 40% of capacity we have of the European capacity will be very important for the rest of Europe in the future. Natural gas is going to be there not only for the transition, but after that. Okay? I mean, I really think that natural gas is going to be there for many years. Many times we think of natural gas only as a source to produce power. And we compare ourselves, or some of the others compare ourselves, and natural gas with coal and other sources to produce energy. Where in the European countries, in any mature market, gas is used for producing electricity only for 20 or 25% of the total demand. In Spain, only 20%, 90% of the gas consumption is used for power generation. 80% is used for domestic purposes and industrial purposes. Many industries need gas and will need gas for long. We don't know how to produce enough heat and power in many industries without the gas. There's no other solutions. So we are there for the future also, for those opportunities. In many cases, natural gas is also used to produce some fertilizers, for example. 10% of the gas demand in Spain is used for fertilizers. Of course, we will work on organic fertilizers in the future, I know that. But for the moment, fertilizers are used with natural gas, or need natural gas to be produced. So I really think that we have to try to explain what's natural gas used for before we go against natural gas, and not making us compete against renewable energy or coal energy. So that's something important. Of course, we are the owners of the infrastructure, so we are neutral. What we think is that through our network, we're going to see natural gas and renewable gases. We think our infrastructures are done, are built, are well maintained, so it's much cheaper for everyone. Try to introduce renewable gas in our network better than electrifying part of the economy. The cost of electrifying the economy is huge. It's cheaper many times, but we think it's going to be cheaper to produce renewable gas and use all our infrastructures. And for some purposes, in industries, for example, the only solution to decarbonizing the economy is that one. The only way to decarbonize industry is to produce renewable gas, transport the natural gas, and use it in the industry. There's no other solution. So there's going to be huge investments, I think, in the side of the production of these renewable gases. That will be synthetic gas, biogas, biomethane, hydrogen, whatever. And there's going to be huge investments, and we need to push those. And technology is going to be there in the future to produce cheaper those gases. Of course, in Spain, natural gas cars have been denied and haven't been and promoted by anyone. So now we are on that. Some Spanish brands like SEAT are working very strongly on the natural gas car. They are saying that their sales of the natural gas cars, SEAT, has grown 10 times. We are pushing that as much as we can. Or our fleet is now natural gas cars. All the cars from the employees are natural gas, and we promote the natural gas cars for our employees also, and we are promoting it as much as we can. It's cheaper than any other car, and we think it's cleaner. It's the change to natural gas car. It's quicker than the change to an electric car. I believe that in the future we're going to have different types of cars in the market. We're going to have the electrical cars for the small distances. We're going to have the natural gas cars for the longer distances, and we have the LNG trucks for the long distance, as well as we will have LNG in maritime transportation. So I'm a true believer that it's going to grow in these years a lot in Spain. We are going to invest in some of the infrastructures needed. We're going to invest in one of it here at the office, and we're going to push as much as we can, because I'm a truly believer that it's going to grow in these three segments. So for consumers in the long distance, for trucks, LNG, and the maritime transportation. Maritime transportation is going to move to LNG for sure in the next 10 years. We're going to see 100% of the big transportation move to LNG in the future for sure. So we are adapting all our terminals for that. That's also another big advantage of Spain. We have all those terminals right in the middle of everyone, so it's going to be very important for us, and bunkering business of LNG is going to be very important for our industry in the future. We are moving on to that. We have invested in all our terminals lately, and all of them are prepared for bunkering already. And we are now investing in small bunkering terminals in the ports where we are not in. And those are going to come, I'm sure those investments will come in the next 2 years. It's the first gas fuel trial in a passenger train. It has been done in some non-passenger train, but the passenger train was the first trial in the world. This has been done in a small train in the north part of Spain, in Asturias. Those trains are very small, but they have two engines. So the trial is done with the two engines working, one on natural gas and one on diesel. So we can see how it works in the same place with the same train. And what we're going to see there, I think, is the reduction of emissions, of particles, of noise. That's very important in the train. That the reduction of noise is very important. That many of those trains go through cities, so reducing by 50% the noise of an engine is very important for that industry, and I'm sure it's going to be a success. Actually, I think we're going to announce some investment on that later, in a few weeks. But when I joined the company, I understood that to change the mindset of many of the people of the company, entrepreneurship could be a good tool. So what we've done is we've worked in an entrepreneurship program in different fields. All of them have to do with the promoting of the natural gas, or our infrastructures, or efficiency around our infrastructures. So we help them to develop themselves. The entrepreneurs, the former employees of the company, have to invest themselves, so they put some money, they take some risk in the company. They are helped by the company, and they can prove if it's a prototype or if it's some kind of technology in our network. And I'm pretty sure that many, if not all of these 7 companies are going to be hugely successful. This program started in 2015. The first one we started in 2016. It's a company dedicated to analyze methane leaks in industrial environments. It's already successful. They're already having a positive EBITDA, and they are selling the technology in the US. So it's working. We have a small place here outside in the office, and we are 1,300 employees. 145 of those employees, different employees, have presented projects to this program. So more than 10% employees of the company. I'm really proud of the program, and I think it's helping to change the way people should think in these type of companies. All of us, all the European TSOs, we have a big part of our business in a regulated, non-risky activity, supposed non-risky activity. So we need to change into a world where risk is there, and these companies are really risk averse. So we need to change the way people think, and failure is part of the culture, should be part of the culture of the company. But they need to fail fast. That's very important. So we need to be very agile and very quick in the failure. I want no more PowerPoints. I want to try and to fail as soon as they can. We need to prove things by testing, and that's very important. It's very difficult for these type of companies to understand that this is needed to grow and to become really international.